Tiny, people are talking about 80-20 rule. What is 80-20 rule?
80-20 rule is a lot of managers, a lot of owners get very frustrated about that. Okay, let's say you have a sales team of real estate agents. So let's say you've got 100 real estate agents, quite a large company. 20% of your agents will sell 80% of your product, and 80% of your agents will sell 20% of the product. Okay, so if you've got an organization with 50 staff, you'll have the top 10 do most of the work. The other 40 will do only 20% of the work. So that's where you've got to, over a long period of time, understand that rule and understand it takes many years to get, an ultimate, 100% of your staff. You never will, but let's say if you're trying to get to the reverse, 80% of the crew is awesome, okay? That might take you 20 or 30 years because you've got to go through hundreds and hundreds of staff members to find that. The other challenge you'll also face is those 20%, a lot of the time they go off and start their own companies. So you're going to lose them. So if you've got 100 staff and you lose a couple of the 20%ers, some of the 80%ers will step up to that. So it is one of those rules that business people do get frustrated about because it's kind of like, well, why aren't they doing their job and other bits and pieces? It's just human nature, and you will lose the 80%. I had this guy who was awesome, absolutely awesome. He was a painter. I called him Gazda because he actually was Irish, but he could speak Serbian. So it was just a funny situation. And he was totally brilliant. And I said to some of my crew, he's only going to be here 6 months. And they go, what do you mean? I said, because all he's doing is he's learning everything he can from me. He's learning how to quote. He's doing the jobs perfectly. He's talking to the customers. And they said, aren't you upset about that? He's just coming. I said, no, because he's doing what he needs to do for us, for our company now. He wants to start his own, but he's not doing a bad thing in a sense. He just wants to get ahead and he wants his own company. But every single job I send him to is perfect. Every single time I talk to the customer, they've liked what he's done. He's done the right job. He's communicated with them. He hasn't taken any shortcuts, so forth. So that's the thing is those guys will eventually start their own businesses in bits and pieces. And then you have to start retraining. So it's always going to be 80-20. So you just got to learn as your business gets bigger. 80% of the staff will sit around and they won't do what they need to be done, and they've got to be told. It's just part of management and part of owning your own company.
Are you happy to see people improve and starting their own business?
Oh, I love it. It's kind of like you give them a kickstart. And you don't take it as they've stolen something from you. Some people get upset because I've taught them everything. Well, that's your job. Right? If you're in management or you own a company, you're teaching them everything anyway to work for you. If they go off and work for, you've got to see that to begin with. You've got to ask the person at the interview, how long do you want to stay? And he goes, well, I want to stay, and if they're honest, which the majority of these people are, they say, look, I want to work with you for 6 months and I want to do something myself. Great. Okay. Are you going to give me your best for 6 months? Yep. And then you're fine. And in the majority of the time they give you their best, and then they go off, and then you wish them well. They might be your competition. Well, in a sense, you've got to take it and say, okay, that's good because now I've got to improve my business because this person's copying and pasting me. Okay, so I have to get better. And so, there's always different ways of taking whatever situation it is. You just try and look at the positive all the time.